Hi, it's Dwayne from Modders Inc. and today we're going to be looking at a Mini-ITX case from DeepCool, and it's the Macube 110. Mini-ITX cases are becoming more and more popular because, well, we're able to now downsize our hardware and still have great hardware. Before, when the hardware got downsized, it was like, it was lackluster, didn't have all the features. But now, as it's shrinking, the features are actually staying the same. Some of them might even be growing a little bit. So it's allowing us to shrink everything down and be able to put it into a smaller space, which, you know, who doesn't like that? We're going to take a look at this. This is a Mini-ITX case, and it is from DeepCool. And as you can see, it says it is the Macube 110. No idea what that stands for, but I guess we're going to find out. And I think from the outside of the box, it does say that it is black. A black case. Okay. Well, I've got my super cool knife, and it says on there, it says, "May all your unboxings be bright." Ooh. Kind of scary. All right, so let's go ahead and dig into this. I may not even have to get out of my chair for this one because it's not too bad. Okay, so here we go. So right off the bat, what I kind of noticed is that it looks like all they did was take a case and they probably put it in water and it shrunk. Because the same designs and the same things that I see actually just remind me of a smaller version of a bigger case. But sometimes they really change the dimensions or the visuals of it. But really, it does just like, it's been shrunk down. So we'll do a quick one around about it. How about, I'm gonna get my fancy spinning wheel. Right? Oh yeah, so much easier doing it that way. Okay, so I see here, this is tempered glass. Yes, it is tempered glass, it's not plastic. Okay. The back size, now if you notice, right, front to back, it's smaller. Top to bottom, it's smaller. Side to side, it looks like about the same size as a regular case to me. You can use a regular power supply, it looks like too. So an ATX power supply, you can put that in there. Vertical ports there. What have we got? 4 IOs here. Steel. Steel. Yeah. On that side. And what do we got on the bottom? Let's see what we've got on the bottom. Good size plastic legs. They're on the bottom. They stand up about an inch. So that gets good. So if you'd like to put yours on the carpet or on the flooring, so you're going to have plenty of airflow that goes through. It does have a filter for the PSU. Pretty typical, you know, nothing really super fancy about that one. So it is removable, and you can clean it whenever needed, or whenever whenever you think about it. The front side looks like this is the air intakes here, and also here is about the same. So, and then let's look at the top. Top's pretty basic. See, still has the tape on there. It is magnetic, so that's good. That's really nice. So you can see it's got pretty good airflow through the top of it. I mean, it's pretty well, it's diamond shaped into cubes. So got lots of airflow, which is nice instead of the little tiny holes. And so this is going to allow you to have probably even more air be able to go through here. Got the mounting brackets available for the fans, or you can put your radiators inside here. We've got something we can show you on doing that. And then also across the top, looks like we've got the power, the reset, USB, and of course the audios. We'll take off that. So yeah, not too bad, right? Okay, pretty basic. Looks like it's pretty basic. Huge spot here on the back side of the motherboard. So once you install your motherboard and you want to change out, let's say, a fan or water cooler, or you need to take it apart for maintenance and stuff, looks like you're not gonna have any issues of swapping out the hardware or doing whatever you need to do on that side of it. They did a pretty decent job with the cable management already there. You've got all your connections. You've got your motherboard, screws, some zip ties, and all of your audio and reset buttons and stuff that go onto the motherboard along with your USB. So, and I'm guessing that is, yes, it is USB 3.0, which is good. I don't know if you can see it or not, but right in here there is a little bit of cable management. Maybe about as big as my thumb. I think it's about 20 millimeters, maybe a little above, might be 22 millimeters, that you can be able to run your cabling along through here. But again, right, if you're going to go to the Mini-ITX case, you're not going to have a lot of crap in there. So you're going to minimize the amount of cables that you use off your power supply and cables that you're going to be using in the case itself. So it's probably going to be fairly decent to be able to have that. Looks like we've got here for mounting. So we can put SSDs here. Looks like we can do here with the SSDs. Now what I noticed is that, and I'll take one out, that it is actually a rubber grommet. So what that tells me is that there's probably a pin system. So we did another case we looked at that actually on the SSDs or your hard drives that you have, instead of a screw, you're actually going to have, like, I'm going to call it a compression fitting, but it's got a pin that goes into the bottom of the drive, and then you just push it in there and the compression will hold it in place. It's not like you're going to be throwing this thing around or be doing a whole bunch of crap with it, right? So it should hold it in place very well. So it looks like we've got the ability to put, yeah, 1, 2 SSDs here. So that's pretty good size already. Let's see what we can do to the front side. I'm going to leave the plastic on because I don't want to scratch it because moving it around. But it's got a handle, and let's see how this comes up. Ah, okay. Nice. Ah, it's magnetic. Cool. So you don't have to have that, you know, snap in, snap out. So something else I really like, and I wish everybody would do this, when there's still some people out there that have the screws on the outside, right? And I've done it at least twice, broken a side panel. Because you're doing this and you're taking the screws out, and taking the last one out and it slips. All it's got to do is sometimes just barely hit your desk, whatever you're working on, and it's tempered glass, and it's supposed to shatter into thousands of little pieces because it's tempered glass. Why can't they, or why don't they, such as DeepCool has done, is it's got a little lip on the inside of it, a little edge right there. Super easy. I mean, it's actually, looks like it's just glued onto the bottom, and saves everybody such a pain ass problem. So let's take a look under the inside. Not too bad. Not too bad. Looks like you get a 120 millimeter fan already pre-installed right up on the back side here. Full cover over the power supply and stuff. So very smart, actually, because your power supply is going to take up, yeah, I think you can do 160 millimeter power supply, which is a pretty good size power supply, so like a normal size. But what this cover does is allows you to hide everything else, right? So you can have your power supply and only run up the kind of wires that you need, right? Everything else can be hidden back on this back side. That and the top of this plate and this cover, there are 2 notches taken out. No rubber grommets though. I've noticed no rubber grommets here and no rubber grommets in here where the cables pass through. Again, you're only looking at a $50 case. Everything that they would add on would actually, you know, increase that pricing, but it all depends if you really need that or not. It's cool, it's nice, it makes everything look a little smoother, but I don't sometimes think it's a must have. It's a must like, if that makes any sense. So yes, so you would, where you've got those notches, you'd be able to run up your cabling that goes to your motherboard for your, you know, I/O ports on the front side, or if your ports on the front side, and your USB and all that stuff can run up through there. So not too bad at all. And you can actually see how much air really goes through that. really, really quite ventilated. So that's really nice. I noticed something here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out. And it's kind of a nice little feature. So what you have here is a GPU support. Yeah, how about that? So it's got a screw in here. And let's see. Take out my here. And you can swivel it out of the way. You can move it to where, depending on the length of your card, how you want to set that up. And it's also has a slot in the case that you can move it up and down. A little easier to show it on the back side. See where this slot is right here? This would go into here. Your screw. So your thumb screw goes in there and allows you to move it up and down, depending upon, you know, the height of your card or how it sits in there. The other kind of cool thing is you can either put it in this way, where it's got the tab going up. If that doesn't give you enough play, and you need to go, let's say, a little higher, you can flip it over, and it allows you to go up a little bit higher on that as well. Take off the front panel. It just pulls off there. Got the typical little pins that go into the side of the case, and you can kind of see a little bit through here, and right through here is where all the air is coming through the front. Looks like it should be fairly adequate on that side of it. I mean, again, you're not going to probably be putting like a super duper, you know, big system in the side of this thing. Wide open, which is really nice. So you can put all kinds of fans in here if you like, or you can also put your radiators. Your radiators, you can do the 120, of course, a 240 and a 280. Supposedly, I think you can do the same thing on the top. You can do a 120, a 240, or 280. That is why this is notched out. So this is where you can put a radiator at. Your radiator and your fans can sit, if you're going to be putting a 280 millimeter one, you can do it and it'll sit back here and sit down all the way. Again, a good thought on that. I got something I want to try, and I kind of need the guys' advice on this, if it's good, bad, or but something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I think that, especially like, you have a black case, right? And then you have a black power supply, black motherboard, black radiators. Everything's kind of a really dark color, and it's really kind of hard to show off how things fit in the case when everything's the same color. So I have this idea that I'm putting together, and I actually did put it together, but I need the guys tell me what you think down in the comments below. It really would help me. And if people kind of like it, then I'm going to continue with it. And if you don't like it, I'll probably continue with it anyway. All right, I've gotten all set up for this part of the review, and something I was talking to you about, and this is what it is. You can see a bunch of really colorful stuff over here. Here's an idea that I came up with, right? Like I said, black and black and black. What about if, gosh, if things were colored, and you could see how it actually sits inside of the case? Simi's telling you, like, well, there might be a little bit of clearance. I don't know. I can actually put stuff in there. So this is just some cheap stuff that I put together. So what I did is I went around to all the shops and looked and said, okay, what's the average sizes? So these are everything that I did is basically the average large size. So if this is the largest and it can fit in there, then you know anything that size and under it can. The same thing. This is actually 280 millimeter. It's 45 millimeters thick, and it is what 320 millimeters long. So again, largest average size throughout the manufacturers. So this is your typical AIO. In case you didn't know, the typical AIO size is different. So it's 280, right? But that's 320 millimeters average size of the big ones long, and only 27 millimeters thick. So if you're going to go and get a regular radiator, it's a little different size. But then what I did is I made some fans. These are some things that just represent what size the fans are. These would be 140 millimeter fans. So now we can actually take that and put it in the case as well and show you how it actually lands out. But I did not stop there. No, there's more. What? There's more? Yes, there's more. This is AMD, right? So this is all the AMD cards. This is represents, one I did here is the 5500 to 56 and the 68 series. So as you can see, these are the different lines. This is the 55, this is the 56, and this is the 6000 series, the 68,000. So that's the actual sizes of different cards. So if it can fit in there, again, the longest one, if it can fit, then you know you're going to be good, because here's the other different sizes of AMD cards. Same thing with the NVIDIA, right? So this is the 2000 series. So this is the 2060, the 2070, and the 2080. And then we've got, of course, this is for the 3000 series. So I was kind of thinking about it. And then, you know, motherboards. So, right? Mini-ITX and Micro-ATX. Mini-ITX, Micro-ATX. So we can put it in there, and you can actually see how it sits in the, let's look at that. Oh my gosh, okay. So, well, enough talking about that. I want to put this together, and we can put a couple things in there. I want you guys to look at it. I really would like to hear what you have to say about it, but you know, we're really making sure that we're doing a review on the DeepCool Macube 110, not on this. So we're focusing on this, but I would like to have comments, of course, on this. Is it going to hold the new NVIDIA cards, right? I don't know. Let's see. Look at that. This is the new size for the NVIDIA cards. This is the thickness. And this is all the way up to the, so it goes pretty much as the lines go. It's like, this is the 3060, most of the 3070s. There are actually a 3060 that's about this size as well. And then a couple 3070, 3080s that are about the same size. And then this is the 3090. This is the longest card. So yes, will it fit? It will fit. So here's the next question though. So remember how you've got this going here. Can we put a radiator in the front? Well, let's find out, right? So let's say we want to put a 240, right? So can we put a 240 in there? Yes. A 240 can go in there. It's going to be tight though. It looks like it's really going to be tight with putting the fans in there. So this is typical for the 120, and it is, not going to work for the longer cards, for like a 3090 card. So that's going to be like 330 millimeters, I think a lot of those are. 322, 330, I think is some of them. So you're not going to be able to put that in there. As you can see, you're just not going to make it. So that eliminates that. But the good thing is if you've got a smaller card, so let's say you've got something that is more on the 3070 or the 3060 size, which is going to be these lines, it absolutely is going to fit. So you shouldn't have a problem there. It's going to be tight, but it should fit. The AIO 240, right? Guess what? No problemo. And guess what? Right in there. It goes just like that. So if you want to do a 240, you can even do the 280 up there. It's going to fit in there, no problems. It looks like we can even do that. We'll take the this is the 280. There's a 280 AIO, and we're going to go ahead and we'll stick it up there. It's going to be a little tight with the cables in the front. We move those around though, but again, no problem. So you can put the largest size NVIDIA card in there, no problem. You're just not going to be able to use the front, but you will be able to put fans in the front though. So if you want to put fans in there, again, plenty of room. The radiator, you're not going to be able to do that with the larger sizes, but if you do the smaller ones, always check. I swapped it out for the AMD card, and this is what we come up with. So I already see that I'm going to have to adjust my little stuff here, but as you can see, this is supposed to be for the 5500, the 56, and this is for the new 6000 series, right? So again, if you've got a 55 or a 5600, you're not going to have any problems. You fall way behind where this hole is, and you're going to be able to put in a radiator with fans in the front. If you got a larger one, you've got the newer ones, whenever they come out, the 68s and 69s, it might be a little tough because, as you can see, we got the radiator mounted in the front, but the fan will not clear it. But any of the current cards, or maybe the older cards, are going to be fine. So that's going to be good. If you want to do a custom loop, you're going to be putting a 280 or 240 because they're about the same thickness. It's just the length. And then you've got the 140 millimeter fans. It's going to be a little tight, of course, like everything else, where you've got your power coming in, and it's going to hook up to the motherboard. But, you know, that's going to be like in any other case. It's going to be about the same way. It's going to be tight, but you should be able to move it over and have enough to move everything around. CPU is going to go here. As you can see, what I got in there right now is the Micro-ATX motherboard. Plenty of space. So even if you go with the smaller one, which is the Mini-ITX, of course it's going to be even smaller. So you're going to have no issues on that at all. Let's go back to the storage drives and where we can locate them. So as we know, we said you can put one here and here are SSDs, but also down in here there's a cage. So you can also put a 3.5 and or more SSDs. If you don't want that, it is removable. So you can have more space down here for maybe water cooling and whatever you feel like, maybe more cables, or I don't know, maybe hiding stuff in there, whatever you want to do. Easily removable. There's 2 screws that you can take out here. It all slides in and out on some grooves. So that's what we'll do here. As you can see, this is the cage. And like I said, you can actually mount, you can actually do, I think, what is it, SSDs. You can mount them here, or you can also do a 3.5. So you can put those on there as well, if that's where you want to put it. So we can do that really quick here. That way we can put it all back together, right? These are my mock-up drives. These are what I use for when I do case mods and stuff, instead of using like real drives that I might mess up at some point in time. If you want like a mass storage, like if this is where you can put all your games or your movies and stuff, you can do one on the top, and you can do actually one inside of the cage as well, or you can put this one inside of the cage and an SSD, SSD, and SSD. So again, that goes in there. It's super easy, right? Just kind of slides in and goes into place. As I said before, you can get these little pins that you just put onto the backside where you normally put the screws in, and they're just pins for the SSDs, and you got the rubber grommets, and we can just go ahead and just push it into the rubber grommets, and it'll securely hold it right into place. So 1, 2, 3 SSDs. You could probably put a 4th one down here if you wanted to. Definitely you can put 2 3.5s if you wanted that much storage, and plenty of stuff, and it keeps it all on the back side and keeps it out of the front, makes it really nice and clean. So here are my final thoughts about the DeepCool Macube 110. For the price point, I think it's a great little case. For 50 bucks and some of the features that it has, I think you can't go wrong. I mean, with the tempered glass, steel. It's got, you know, removable filters that you can do with that. I really do like the side window, that it doesn't just automatically fall down. Less breakage, right? And it's all magnetic. You don't have to worry about screws and all that other crap that goes along with that. You know, as we already saw, that we can put just about anything you want inside of this. I would probably go with AIO cooling, you know, the all-in-one coolers, just because probably the ease. And if you're not that more experienced with how to deal with the custom water cooling and stuff, then it would probably be easier for people to do that. Like right now, we got a 280 setup out here. No problems. We got, you know, the 240 on the front side in there, and it would fit, but the fan would be a little clearance unless you have a smaller of the motherboard, or it would fit if you have a smaller of the GPUs. So I'm not too sure though about the air intake on the front, but I would have to, I'm not too sure about the air intake on the front. I know most people complain and say it doesn't have enough airflow and whatnot because it doesn't have it's a solid front. But then again, I probably wouldn't be putting, you know, a 1099 or high duty CPU and GPU inside of this. It would probably end up being like just a daily driver is what I like to call them, that you just go into the internet and just maybe play a few small games or just do some casual stuff, or maybe something that you would do for school or maybe at your work. But I think that's a good little setup for that as well. The ease of these panels coming on and off, man, really super easy on that. For me though, I'm a big freak about cabling, right? So this small channel on the backside, maybe not for me, but what I would do is I would definitely take out the hard drive cage, because I think it has enough places to put different storage, because you can put, of course, your SSD, and M.2 on the motherboards, probably 1, 2, or 3 of them on that if you can, depending on the motherboards you can get. And I would take this out and use this all space up for my additional wires, or if I was doing water cooling, then maybe adding my water cooling wiring and tubing and stuff down here. But overall, I would actually say I would recommend it for somebody who's definitely looking at this price point range and looking to go smaller. Thanks for watching the video. I hope that you liked it, enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and remember, always void your warranty.